So, I've been told that, like, for the benefit of people viewing this in the future as a primary source, I should stop, like, talking about headlines and stuff, because chances are you've already come across them in textbooks or something. And I, to be a better primary source, should tell you more of how it's impacting me personally, like daily life and all of that. So, here's one of the things that's been on my mind lately, which is, like, everyone keeps talking about Corona, obviously. Like, everyone's only talking about Corona because Corona is the only thing to talk about, because the world's in a standstill, kind of. Because, huge global pandemic. Kind of all encompassing. But it's annoying to me because, like, God, remember when we used to talk about things? Like, Corona's the only subject at this point, which gets tiring after a while. But there's new headlines every day, and then people are talking about all of this stuff. Part of that is release dates, movies, video games, TV shows, all of that has been pushed back indefinitely because no one's allowed to film, no one's allowed to, like, go into work, anything like that. So there's not the amount of entertainment that there usually is to keep us occupied when we're stuck at home. It's weird because, like, on the one hand, I don't want to be stuck at home, but on the other hand, I don't really want to be going out because, like, we're at home to protect from the virus and stuff. And some countries and states and stuff are lifting a lot of their restrictions and stuff to try, like, to get the economy going again because, you can't pause forever. But I kind of feel like you should, because, like, there have been people talking about how if everyone just stayed home for 2 weeks, if we completely stopped the world for 2 weeks and everyone just stayed in their houses, then you would know exactly who had it. Well, the theory was that you'd know exactly who had it and it would die everywhere else so people who didn't have it could go out again. But even that wouldn't work because it's hard to pinpoint. We don't have accurate tests, and there are people who don't even have symptoms who carry it, so that wouldn't even work necessarily. But I also feel like we should minimize, like, as a planet, minimize the risk as much as possible. So, like, don't lift your restrictions and stuff. Just everyone who isn't an essential worker, just stay home. Because then we can get rid of this as quickly as possible. But obviously that's not happening. Which, like, I don't know exactly how to feel about that. I don't know. Like, I'm definitely, even if they lift the restrictions where I am, I'm not gonna, like, I'm still gonna stay at home because I feel like it's better, it's safer to do that. Not that I'm worried about catching corona because, like, chances are, even if I do, it's not going to affect me much because I'm young and healthy and all of that, but that's not an excuse. Like, I still need to protect other people. Change of topic, because I've run out of things to say on that because I don't know what my thoughts are. But we had a couple nice days, sunny, like 80, like 2 of them, and now it's back to like dreary and gray and raining all the time. So, yay for that. It's gonna storm later, which is why I'm out now. But it's like, the weather is just so depressing all the time, reflecting the state of the world, I guess. But I don't know. We like, a lot of entertainment stuff is getting pushed back, but there are some things that are still going on. Like, there's a new Scooby-Doo movie that was released straight to digital because obviously the cinemas are all closed. Update for one of the games that I play, the final update for Terraria 1.4 was moved up, so the release date was yesterday, instead of 3 months from now, because they had more time to work on it because of this whole quarantine stuff. I've heard talk about looking at an online start for the year next year, or like moving people who need it online and only letting the people who really need it, like the special needs kids, in the building, because it'll be easier to enforce social distancing. There was some official person talking about like letting everyone in and just enforcing social distancing, which, like, that's never gonna work. Maybe in a small elementary school, but like, my school has 4,000 kids. There's no way you could ever enforce social distancing with that many people. And the layout of my school, there's a central hallway on both floors. So you have to be in that hallway. It's a crowded hallway for like all of your passing periods trying to get to your classes. There's no way you're ever gonna be able to do social distancing in that. Like, 6 feet apart, not gonna happen. So, personally, I really hope they do the online start for next year, because that's just a lot safer. Was talking to my friends. We were planning a coordinated Halloween costume. This is, of course, if Halloween isn't canceled, which I feel like there's a possibility of that, considering they were going to try to reschedule the seniors' graduation for the end of October, and the CDC did not approve it. So I feel like going to people's houses, asking for candy from many people, like, I feel like that's not gonna be a thing that happens this year, which sucks, because like, trick-or-treating's fun, And all of you who think that people over the age of 13 shouldn't trick-or-treat can go jump off a cliff. But feeling that's not happening this year. It sucks because this is like the one day, like the 1 year that Halloween is not on a weekday, which it's like the one day that we have the entire day to do stuff instead of just like 4 hours, 4 to 6 hours after school gets out. If school gets out and it's not just online, which probably. I'd seen things that places are opening up again, like there's a cafe in Germany where they're like enforcing social distancing by giving people pool noodles, like 6-foot pool noodles, and so like no one can go close to each other, which, I don't know, like, creative solution, I'll give you that, but still, I don't think it's a good idea. Shanghai Disneyland opened against the advising of the Disney company, but the Disney company doesn't own Shanghai Disneyland. It's owned by Oriental Trading. So Disney was like, no, you shouldn't open. But Shanghai Disneyland did. Of course, they're only letting 25,000 people, not 25,000, sorry, 2,500 people in the park at a time. So not their usual 8,000. And they're doing virtual queues, so you're not close to anyone in a line. Which, again, like, I don't think you should be doing that. Like, I don't think this is a good idea. We've been doing grocery deliveries and stuff, and thank you to all of the essential workers who make things like this possible. But it's weird, like, things that usually are more expensive, like, we were getting tofu because other sources of protein are getting more expensive and harder to find, predictably. But we were getting tofu, and the organic tofu, which usually, since it's organic, would be more expensive, was like drastically less expensive than the inorganic tofu because of like shortages, I guess. And like you can make this whole list of stuff on all of the apps and everything. And the shoppers are required to text you and tell you if they're substituting stuff. So you just get like text after text after text because turns out whatever you put on there wasn't there, so they're substituting it with something else. And most of the time, it's pretty close. But other times it's like completely not at all close. It's like, you wanted bananas? How about mangoes? yeah, they're still fruit, but like, there's one of the ones that worked in my favor was we were trying to get chicken gyoza, and it substituted it with sriracha chicken gyoza, which I never would have bought, but it was actually pretty good. So